Top tips from Tunisia on the boat 94. So it might take a little bit of focusing, but you can see just on the tip of my finger here there's loads of little red dots, and these red dots are basically iron filings that have rusted, and so we need to get those out, and then we can clean and polish the decks properly. And in order to get those out we need to use oxalic acid. Now obviously oxalic acid is quite dangerous. So there we are, five minutes later we've done most of the foredeck, and you can see it's taking out all the little rust stains, and the scrubbing is taking out the dirt from the Well, here we are in sunny Tunisia. We're about 2 weeks away from being lifted out, and we've come here to lift out because we need to deal with some issues on our keel from when the boat was originally copper coated from new. Anyway, meanwhile, before we lift out, we wanted to clean all the decks, and the reason we're cleaning the decks is because when we were in Sicily, the volcanoes erupted and spewed ash and lava and what have you, and in the ash and in the dust tiny little pieces of iron, and those pieces of iron lay on the deck in the dust and start to rust, and what they do is they stain the deck. So we've got a few places on the deck of Impavidus where we've got these little tiny rust stains. Guys going out fishing behind me, putt putt putt. So let me show you, see if we can catch this on the camera where it's stained. So it might take a little bit of focusing, but you can see just on the tip of my finger here there's loads of little red dots, and these red dots are basically iron filings that have rusted. Yeah, down here, just take this dust off. You see some spots rusting in there, another one there. So it's generally all over the boat, and we're going to have to clean it off. So now we're in Tunisia, and the weather's good and things are a bit cheaper. We're going to deal with it, so I'll get on with it and stop yabbering on.
Get your giant palsy then.
Yeah. Why do they not make man-sized gloves?
They are, they're extra large.
Oh, see what I mean? In the UK you can't buy oxalic acid crystals that easily. You have to go to a chemist, sign the poisons register, In Sicily, you just go into a ferreteria, hardware store, and you buy a big bag of the crystals. So what we're going to do is we're going to make up like a thick paste. I think that's probably enough in there, and then we're going to use hot water just to dissolve the crystals. Now you get to a saturation point with this stuff where the crystals won't dissolve anymore into the water. Oh, dog hair. So they are dissolving there. Now we don't want it as a liquid as such, we want it more like a paste. So top tip is washing up liquid, and this thickens it up, stops it running down all over the deck, gives you a little bit more viscosity is the word I'm looking for, isn't it? And the liquid will help clean up any other dirt that's got into the non-slip. Now we have a it's not a paste, it's like a thick treacle. So we're then going to use a scrubbing brush. You just drop the scrubbing brush in there and then just work it into where those areas of staining are, and leave it, and that'll take the staining out. Oxalic acid is great if you've got a boat that's on a river or in a dirty harbour and you've got the tide lines around the boat. Oxalic acid is great. And another tip is wallpaper paste. You can mix wallpaper paste with oxalic acid. That turns it into a paste. You can then paint it on, let it dissolve all the stain. And the other thing you can do is put some cling film, some cooking film over the top, and that stops it evaporating and drying out. And then you just literally just wash it off. So steel boat owners will know this trick anyway, for when they get rust staining. Oxalic acid is great for that. Right, let's go up on deck and start using this. Got our scrubbing brush here, and what we're going to do is work down the deck from the front of the boat, just lightly scrubbing. You see the muck coming off already. That's mainly the red dust from the rain we had the other day. And just leave it on there. And the reason we're doing the deck first and leaving the coach roof to afterwards is so that we can wash the deck down with fresh water, clean that off first, and then do the deck, do the coach roof. So there we are. Five minutes later, we've done most of the foredeck, and you can see it's taking out all the little rust stains, and the scrubbing is taking out the dirt from the non-skid. It's working really well. So we'll get down the side decks, and then we'll the fairy liquid or washing liquid is helping to keep the foam and stopping it from drying out too quick. Just go back over it as we work back, and you can see it's lifting all the dirt and taking all those rust stains out. Lovely and clean.
Back to a shiny boat again.
So here we are. Now we've done all of the deck. I'm just rinsing it off. You see the difference. All the staining's out. The decks have gone a lovely crystal white again. Now, next thing will be to do the coach roof with the same method. You must use lots and lots of water to get this off, because obviously if you don't, it will just keep reacting. So lots of water to wash it all off, get it all off the decks. Look at that, lovely and clean. And then when you've done that, what you've done is you've actually opened up all the pores in the plastic as such. Not really pores, but you've opened up the surface, and there's no wax protecting it now. So it's important that once you've given it a good scrub and a good clean, that you then wax these surfaces. Now the anti-slip on Bavaria's is shaped that such that you can polish it, and it still remains anti-slip. I think you'll find that Benetton's are the same. I know that Dean's Benetton is the same. You can polish it. It takes all the, protects the plastic again. That's all it is. And that's took us about an hour and a half just to scrub round all of the deck, bring it up like new. So just the top deck to do now. You see some staining there, some staining back there, and a slight, if you look at the colour of our deck and then look at the coach roof, you see the difference in colour. That's got a browny orangey tinge to it, and that's now crystal white. Right, enough waffling, I need to get on. So there we are, Cindy's now starting on the coach roof. Is that my toothbrush?
Yeah. It's for details.
Right.
It's alright, it'll clean it. It's acid in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can see the difference. You know, it's absolutely beautifully clean now. There's lots of black coming off.
There's a few bits I need to go a bit more detail on.
Yeah.
With your toothbrush.
Yeah, thanks. But you can see that's coming up much better. But I must emphasise, you must flush this off, you know, after an hour or an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. Otherwise, it will continue to react. It's not so bad with stainless and anodised aluminium. So here we are now. All the deck's been done, cleaned. We've washed it all down and then put boat wash and wax on it. Hair of a dog there. You see how the oxalic acid's taken all the little stains out of the inside of the anchor locker as well. Apart from those there, I might just do that with a little bit more. So there we are, all done. You can see the difference. I mean, the deck is absolutely sparkling white now. The only thing that we now have to do, of course, is, as I said earlier, is to do the waxing, because this is now all unprotected. So this afternoon we'll get the wax out and start waxing it. It shouldn't take long, a couple of hours, and that'll protect it for another season or so. I'll see if I can do some fancy kind of split screen thing to show you a before and after, if I've got a shot from here. Before and after. Right, time for a brew, I think now. Cup of tea, nice slice of cake. Halfway through polishing the boat, I thought I'd show you some of the stuff that we use. These are polishing foam sponges, and they go onto an arbor. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so there's the arbor. There's an 8mm pin on it and velcro, and then there's various different hardnesses of foam which you can use for either cutting or applying polish. So not very big, but really handy for getting in kind of tight spaces, like down here where all the dog hairs are, or along the tow rail. If you look along our tow rail there's places you just wouldn't get conventional size polisher in. So that's one of the things we used, and I got these from Amazon. I can't remember, I know they were roughly about 12 euros, something like that, and there were 15 pieces, so you get fake sheepskin and all different hardnesses for cutting and polishing, different shaped sponges. Really handy, especially if you just want to do a little bit of detailing somewhere. You can see all the front shining now, where I've done along the front and along the tow rail, and then here it's all shiny. I've done along here, down the sides of the coach roof. And Cindy's done all the strips on this side. She's then going to move to this side where the glass of water is down there. I'll tell you about that in a sec. And then we'll swap sides. She'll do the detailing on this side, and then I'll do the big expanses down there, and then the tow rail down here. Okay, so I hope the wind noise isn't too bad. With these polishers, you've got to be really careful, because you can heat them up. Obviously, if you're abrading or polishing, there's friction, and friction causes heat. What you don't want to do is to burn the plastic or burn the polish bonnet, foam, sorry, or make the polish go all sticky and not work. And you only need a tiny little bit. You just work it along, and it really does bring up plastic well. So that's why you need to have a glass of water and just keep a little drop of water on the foam. Another way to do it is with a spray bottle, but we haven't got any spray bottles. We had some in Lakata, and they were cheapy Chinese ones, and they lasted about 10 minutes, if that long, before they packed up. So hopefully here in Tunis we can get some more. But you can see the polish on there has come up really well. You can see Cindy's done all of our clears again. They're all nice and shiny and clean through. We've washed down the boom and our vang, our gas strut. So I'll show you the job when we're finished. We're about halfway there now. We started about 9 o'clock this morning. Got everything ready before 9, and it's now 1:30. So it's doable on a day on a 37 foot boat. I mean, Impavidus is big for a 37, but I measured it with an elastic tape measure. So another top tip for you: when you use epoxy and paints, etc., you need to have these little measuring jugs which you measure out the correct proportions. Here's a really good way to save yourself money. Just buy these little plastic cups and using one of these measuring scales, set it to grams, and this cup weighs 8 grams. So we're going to push that back to 0, and now the scales are taking the weight of the cup into account. Now we know that 1 kilo is the equivalent of 1000 cc's of water. So half a kilo is 500 cc's of water. 250 cc's of water is a quarter of a kilo. So what we can actually do is you can use a cup and fill it up to 100 cc's. I've gone over a little bit there. 102, 99, 100. Now obviously there's a little bit of Archimedes principle here, but a small rule down the edge of the cup at the right angle, and that's 37 millimeters is 100. Let's go to 200. Jiggly 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 jiggly. 98, 99, tiniest little bit, the boat's moving. 200. Again, $200 is 65. So what we can now do is just to fill that up to 300, 240, 250, 260, 890, 221, 299. Little bit of movement in the boat. 300, and 300 is 91. So now we can tip this water away, put our rule down the edge of the cup in the same place, and then just mark off those 3 measurements. Now, just to show you this works, there's 91, which is there. 91 is there, and if you look carefully on here, this is actually marked up at 0.3, which is 300 cubic centimeters. Now, putting the other measurements in, which were 37, Cindy, wasn't it?
Oh.
37 and 65. We've now got a measuring cup which you can measure off your mixers, and of course if you're using 250 or 50 ml 50 cubic centimetres or whatever, you can mark those off using the same method. These cups are €2 for 20, which is a lot cheaper than the measuring cups. So that is a top tip which will save you a fortune if you're doing painting with epoxy or measuring out paints or epoxies, where you need to have the correct volume. 1 litre or 1000 cc's of water weighs 1 kilo. So there you go, top tip, save you lots of money. So all finished now. You can see all the black marks, bit of dust on there. All polished all the way up to the stanchions, and I used that little pad. I used that little pad on the drill to get right in tight to the bottoms of the stanchions, around the chain plates. It's come up really well. Bit of blue foam from the old polishing machine, but there we go. So we do this once a year, usually at the end of the winter, beginning of the season, protect from the UV. It is a lot of work, and it's taken all day to do this. The best part of, we stopped for lunch for a little while, but you can see the difference it makes. And it does a couple of things. Obviously you're protecting the deck, but when you're looking around and polishing, you notice little things that wear and tear and things that need to be addressed. So for instance, when I was cleaning around here, our kicker line is absolutely filthy with red dust. So I'm going to take that off, and also this is our out haul, and this is a bit we never see. There's a strange hand coming up through the vents there. This is a piece we never see. We only see this bit from where my feet are back into the cockpit. But if you look up here, look at the difference. So this is literally dirt, red sand, and that line is so stiff you could push a boat with it. Nice clean decks, all polished and protected. Yeah, she's looking good. Next time from Impavidus, Mission Impossible 2. And what just happened, Ryan?
I got 8 seconds of time lapse, that's all I got, and you got the nut off. It's bullshit. I'm gonna put my camera on now.
What did I tell you?
Yeah. Bloody, these English engineers, eh? I was like, I'm not getting ad. I'm gonna get this done. I spent all day on it. I bent everything, and you come, and it took 8 seconds of time lapse. That's all I got on you know what, it's just gonna go.
Yeah. What?
Oh, he'll start again.
You want to come say hello?
Good boy, here.
Here.
Look, here.
Come see Mummy.
Spider fly here, look.
Look, the spider fly.
Oscar. Hi there.
Hello everyone.
We're currently in a very sunny Tunisia. It's a little windy today, which is why we're inside.
We are planning to lift out in 2 weeks' time. Our patrons will know about this. We've had an ongoing issue with the copper coat to the keel. It has been repaired once under warranty, but the base coat, the epoxy, is delaminating again. Osmotech have refused to cover it. They say that they only put a 2-year warranty on the workmanship and the materials, and Copper Coat have said it's nothing to do with them. It's Osmotech who are their approved installer, which is disappointing to say the least, because Copper Coat advertise their product as having a 10-year plus life expectancy.
Hey ho.
Hey ho. The thing is that we've had to finance the repair ourselves. In a way it's good because we know we can do the job, we can do it properly, but it is very disappointing. So Would we recommend copper coat?
Copper coat, yeah.
Yeah,
The actual product.
The product on the hull has worked as expected. It's all down to the workmanship and who you get to do the job. And we had this done from new by Osmotech. In hindsight, we'd have done the work ourselves, wouldn't we? And then we would have known it's done properly, and we wouldn't have had to go to the expense of having the boat hauled out last time and losing it for a month or two, and we wouldn't have the issues around having to haul it again now. But hey ho,
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
At least we've got the sunshine to do it.
Yeah, we've
Not
got
the rain.
we've got the sunshine, and Tunisia is considerably cheaper for hauling out than the rest of Europe. So we're going to haul out in the local marina. We're not going to go to the Port de Pêche where Ryan and Brittany have been hauled out.
On Sailing Sunday.
Sailing Sunday and Dusk as well. They've been hauled out there. We've got a great video coming up where we went and helped Ryan out getting his what was it? His prop shaft out, the flange off, and the bolts disconnected, and what have you. So the great video coming up next week, and hopefully by then they'll be back in the water, so we can film them going back in the water as well.
Yeah.
Patreons, thank you guys. You really do make these videos possible. If it wasn't for you guys, then we simply wouldn't make videos. If you're not a Patreon, why don't you
consider one?
Yeah, consider being one. There's a link in the description. It helps us out with data and camera equipment, etc, etc. It's quite expensive here for data. In fact, it's very expensive if you use EE. That's another thing. So we're having to buy local data cards to upload videos, etc. at the moment. So sunny old Tunisia. It's just the end of Ramadan. It was the end of Ramadan yesterday.
Day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday, and the place has come alive. Unfortunately, they've now gone into a red zone to stop everybody mixing.
I think it all clears again from Monday though.
Yeah, so hopefully after Monday we can get out and about and have a look at some of the sites.
Yeah.
There are some fantastic historical sites here. Flies. That we really do want to have a look at, and we'll take you on a tour around the town as well, to the markets, the souk, and the castles, and all of the stuff that's about, which is really
Which
interesting.
we haven't seen yet.
Which we haven't seen, yeah.
So,
okay.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching, and as always, sail safe.
Bye.
Bye.